Hey guys, say something, put something in the chat because I'm enjoying the banter in the comment section. So I just thought that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go live and see who else is who's there. So type in chat because I'm seeing, and I'm also testing things out. I don't know if you guys can hear me, and I think the lighting here is actually better than the last place, huh? Let me turn the camera real quick. I am also planning to purchase a what do you call this? A HD camera, so that we could go live. I have a couple of computers there in the background that I actually the one over there, yeah, that one right there. So I could use that and put it as what do you call this? But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get like a really good example of. Freedom Gear, and I'm gonna get a really good example of Harakiri Gear. Okay, so I have the Japanese reel here. I'm gonna get the. All right, here we go. So, seafloor control versus deep liner rods. Okay. Um, I use deep liners. Okay, so right here. Okay. Um, I was gonna buy seafloor control, but then I stopped. The seafloor control, the biggest difference that's present in seafloor control is that you can pump a bit, whereas with deep liner you can't. And deep liner is purely for jig manipulation, whereas seafloor control, the jam rods, they are they can be pumped a little bit, but not too much, not like garage nagi. Okay, so if you want a rod that you can pump a bit, seafloor control would be better. All right, so this is an old Accurate, and I put a long handle, and it's a very good backup reel for deep, slow jigging. Okay, surprisingly, because of the gearing of this, it's actually pretty good. This is one of the old ones, and I think these are better than the new ones. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would argue, but the quality of Accurate reels and what they are, the quality of the engineering, if you actually look at newer Accurates and you compare to this, man, I'm telling you, you'll find like metal plates just getting bent and put in some random places in like the newer Accurate reels. Well, this was still when the old man was alive, and it's really good. Now, so this is our example because if we actually put like an Accurate that's newer, worse with an Avid, I think when it comes to engineering, Accurates actually take the cake. So as far as Freedom Gear is concerned, I lean towards Accurates. As far as quality is concerned, affordability, Avids. I have more Avids than Accurate. So, okay, we have that very good example. Custom color as well. Okay. Now, should we go with something similar in size? Here we go. Okay. This is quite similar to this. This is a prototype actually. Okay, so that is an L100, and I would say that this is actually way more advanced than this. Both of them are actually really good reels. Both of them really good engineering. And kind of depends, you know. Both of them can catch tuna, no problem. I pulled an 85 kg tuna with this reel, and it's actually a high speed reel. And I pulled a tuna with this, fought it for about an hour. You know, the only break I took was to hand over the rod to a friend because I needed to go take a whiz, and then came back, fought the fish, boom. Very, very strong. Again, even if it's a very fast speed reel, man, I gave that fish a hard time. And yeah, solid. Now, would I have been able to do the same if I had this? Yes, definitely. You know, it, it is the nature of this beast. Which one's better? Kind of hard. This is new technology. Well, this one's actually old. You know, old but still very much relevant. Yes. Uh, let's see. This is the 80. All right, that's the 100. This is the 80. And we moved the flag from here to here. So if you're buying one of these, the flag's not going to be here, it's here. These are like that because these are prototypes. And I helped um making these. So that's why I have these. So for me, okay, there's a little something something on this that I'm not going to talk about, but this has actually newer tech inside, and this is just like the ordinary stuff. And this is low gear, this is high gear, but this has a little something something. So that's all I'm going to say. Um, yeah, but I mean, I love this reel. You know. Anyway, so what do you guys think of this whole discussion about JP? Yes, the knob is custom. This is resin impregnated wood. So it's wood. Okay, it's not cork. It's wood, but the uh, the voids of the wood, it's filled with resin. So yeah. So the features of this, okay, it has a radiator cooling system inside. Okay, so when the fish runs, the radiator inside actually cools the spool. So that's one. The drag system on this is the drag plate is upgraded. It's actually stainless steel instead of aluminum, and then beefier stem and big wooden handle. So I opted for high quality components and something innovative inside rather than choosing a color, because most of the time it's just a custom color and all that, and I thought that was kind of crappy. So these look ordinary, but what's inside is actually something pretty cool. So that, anyway, yeah, I have the bag here. It's all my SOM reels, all the reels here. I'm actually waiting for the newest Slow down jigging. You spoke once about the difference between Japanese slow jigging rods and Asian. Yeah. What is your opinion about new Asian rice of Tokayo rods and Hearty rice? Hearty rice. Tokayo is made by Hearty rice. Uh, now, uh, okay. I'm gonna be very, very truthful, and this is the truth. Okay, and people take it the way they take it, and you know, uh, the sellers won't tell you this, obviously, because they're selling shit. But this is how rods are designed. Okay, rods are designed to do something very specific, and you can only ask for up to a certain level when it comes to materials. Okay, like take for example, you cannot ask a graphite rod to bend as much as a fiberglass rod. Okay, that's not how graphite works. Now, when it comes to slow jigging rods, it's a sliding scale. Okay, let me look for my board. Okay, there we go. How convenient is that? So slow down jigging. Um, you guys can hear me, right? My voice isn't 100% yet, so please tell me if you guys are actually um comment. Roberto, hello from Brazil. Oh man, I want some stuff from Brazil. I want some stuff from Brazil, fishing stuff. All right. So, um, I used to work for a really big, a really big fishing tackle company. In fact, the largest in the world. It's the largest fishing tackle manufacturer in the world. And I was in charge of the whole Middle East. So believe me when I say this, I'm not just spewing bullshit. And with, since I have no ties with any company, although I work with like companies like I can say whatever the heck I want. All right, and there's no what do you call this because the deal is for me to actually spread the truth because there's so much BS out in the world. All right, and this is one of those. Now, in one of my videos, I actually discussed this. But all right, so this is the rod curve. Let's say, okay, so you have your line just like that. Okay, so what happens is that here it's fighting fish. Okay, and in this end here, it's working your jigs. So this is kind of like the design, all right? And they can't be together. These are opposite ends. And what happens is that the more you actually put your design towards the fight, the less the working capability of the rod is. Now, it tells you one thing and one thing only. If you design your rod for fighting fish, it's a great fighting rod. But when it comes to manipulation, it sucks. Okay? Now, slow jigging was created so that when the fishing is shut down, so, when you're fishing, you're on a boat, you're offshore, there's phases, okay? It's like a bell curve, okay? It's a bell curve. So it goes like that. So you have periods of inactivity and then periods of activity. And it's not all, you know, activity. So what happens is that in these areas, in these times of inactivity, slow jigging is supposed to work. So it's actually a system wherein it maximizes the number of strikes you get, mosquitoes. Okay? Now, if your rod is dedicating for fighting the fish, it has to get the fish to strike first. Okay? So the more the rod is geared towards the fighting, the more it will suck when it comes to presentation. Now, deep liner rods, okay, the reason why I'm using deep liner is because the rod is dedicated to 100% to the manipulation of the jig. Meaning, in theory, if you know what you're doing, when the fishing sucks, you don't have to stop fishing. You know that each and every single time you manipulate the jig, it will move enticingly the way it's supposed to move. Okay, so my opinion on rods like Tokayo and Asian style rods, that's fine. It really depends. Because at the end of the day, while I was working for this one company, I was forced to use those types of rods. And I did well. But then again, I have the experience, I have the training, I have the know how, and I knew the limits of the rod and what it could do and stuff like that. So, yeah, okay. But if you give that to someone who doesn't know what he's doing, or is just still starting out where his um, understanding of things is not up to par, oh God, yeah, go ahead. Just watch the guy because, more than likely he's probably going to give up. Okay, so for me, if I'm spending money, I'd spend it for the purpose of actually what it's intended to be. So, when the fish are active, I'm going to grab my fast jigging rod. When the fish are less active, I'm gonna take my slow jigging rod, and I know that I'm gonna catch fish. That's it. Simple as that. All right. So does that answer your question? Shimano is producing their rods outside of Japan. Yes, all of the rods of Shimano are made in China. But still, you can tell the difference between the JDM ones, such as the Osha Infinity Motive and the Rix. Yes, because even if they're made in China, if the rods are intended for the Japanese market, they are JDM. Okay. You want to see a really good example? Where is that thing? Okay. All right. So this rod right here. Okay. Okay. Look at that. That is jigging. Okay. Ocean field. And you see how thin the blank is? Okay. This is the rating is 300 grams, I believe. Yeah, max 300 grams. Look how thin this thing is. Okay. It is how um, it's 6 foot, so it's really good, and it's you know I use this for lighter jigs like 150 or so, and it pairs up really really well with a 5,000 size reel, and I have a Stradic that sits on this. All right, now look at that. That's an Abu Garcia. So this goes back to the video that I've just uploaded about the JDM, uh, versus Freedom Gear. People in the States don't know it, but Pure Fishing is actually holding out. They're holding out on their biggest market. So they have really good stuff, okay? Like really good stuff. I have a few there. I have like unicorns there, that are Abu Garcia, like crazy stuff that were only available for like 6 months and then, not done anymore. But see, here's the thing. Even Pure Fishing, the base is in the US and it's their largest market. They are shortchanging the people in the US because guess what? They know They know that as soon as they introduce fragile stuff like this, or very technical, not fragile, but technical stuff like this, they're just gonna break it. They're just gonna freaking break it, and they will um, they will spend an arm and a leg just trying to um, what do you call this, to replace all those rods because of the policies that are set there. So this is why in Australia, and guys, okay, I'll go so far as saying as they're looking at market maturity. Okay, so if they think that the market is actually mature enough to understand that these are technical rods, they're meant to be used like this. Now, if they're not being used the way they're supposed to be used, and God, like people in the States, they want the jigging rod to be a casting rod, to be a bait rod, and all this. Can't be like that. You know, it can't be. So when majority, not all, but majority of the, what do you call this? The majority of the people has that kind of mentality. It's better for a company not to get into, not give them the right stuff, but give them something that they can't break instead. That way, they serve less warranties. I don't fish vertically at both, but your lessons are universal to catch more. Yes, correct. I do the rock fishing, shore jigging, shallow waters, 15 meters. Yes, yes, yes. Um, Rock fishing. I'm gonna show you a rod. So this is a rock fishing rod. I'm gonna take the card out so that you can see it, because taking the, oh god, it's stuck in there. Because taking the rod out is kind of difficult. This is a 9-foot rod, okay, and you can look at the specs, okay, Roberto. So see, 9 regular fast action, PE zero point 0.4 to 1, 3 to 8 pound. Look at the lure weight, 1 to 20 grams. It's freaking awesome, you know. And guess what? You don't find stuff like this in the U.S. This is specific for fishing. Um, what do you call this? Rock shore. Okay, so small soft plastics. The range is quite big, and then yeah, fishing with light line. We don't have deep waters. We use 8 9 foot, 40 pounds. Wow, 40 pounds. That's heavy. Although I have rods that actually do that. I have a another Abu Garcia there that's rated for, I think, 140, and it's a shore jigging rod. uh, Sean, yes, Major Craft is there, but the selection is actually not complete. You know, I actually worked closely with Major Craft. I actually designed a few rods, but they're not going to be released because they were supposed to be for here. But yeah, I mean, I met the president and the expert director of Major Craft several times. Actually, sat down with them and had a meeting a few times because I used to go to Japan each year. I was supposed to go this year, but yeah, not making it because of the move. We don't have the chance to fight with jacks many times. They run and snip the braid. Yeah, jacks are like that. Um, that's where popping rods come into being. You know, we have popping rods and well, heavier, stouter gear. So one of the rods that I said, what do you call this? The uh, Abu Garcia. It's a KRX shore jigging rod. It is going to be something that I'm going to use when this reel that I'm waiting for arrives. So I don't know if you guys know, but I actually work with Studio Ocean Mark. Outside of Japan, I'm the first pro staff of Studio Ocean Mark. It explains the reason why I'm working with them with the with the reel, and the reel that's going to be released, um, or actually it's already released, the L75 and the L110, I believe. Um, they're going to be released in the Osaka Fishing Show, and I'm gonna have mine in a few days. So they're gonna be sending it to me. But I helped in the development of that reel, and the L75. The L75 is actually an L50 with a wider spool. So not too sure if this is an L50, but all right. So this is an L50. Okay. So an L75 is actually wider, but it's the same size as an L50. Great video, all as always. Any thoughts about the difference between Japanese and US reels? Yes. There are some model reels. Like take for example, uh, man, I have both reels, okay, but they're in the box right there. So so okay, the here's a very good example. Helder, okay, the Shimano Scorpion is the JDM version of a Shimano Corrado, and the Corrado is essentially a dumbed down version of a Scorpion. So the previous model Scorpion, okay, could be a Corrado. Could be. It could be one or two models behind. So the Scorpion, the newest Scorpion in Japan, is two models ahead of the current Corrado. So it's kind of kind of like a dumbed down version of the Scorpion. They take several bearings off, so the bearing count is actually lower. If you compare the Scorpion and the Corrado, Corrado is a bit heavier because they use cheaper materials, whereas with Scorpion, it's a bit lighter. And I think the Scorpion has more metal parts than the Corrado, or aluminum parts. So that's basically it. So US models, like take for example, there's a US domestic market Stella, and then there's also a JDM Stella. JDM Stella is better. It has more bearings. It's smoother. The kind of bearings that they use is kind of different from the ones that's sent to the states. And the ones that sent to the states are actually a bit tougher. Okay, as far as the bearings go, the bearings of the US models actually stand up more to corrosion, but they're not as smooth. So yeah, it's shit like that. Great video as always. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate that. Brazil, football, USA, money, Japan, fishing. um, Brazil, chicks. Home of the hottest chicks on earth, Brazil. And football. Yeah. USA. The USA is not the best at making money. I think the best at making money, as far as countries are concerned, are actually the Arabs. You know, um, because they have oil, right? But as far as money is concerned, I think Arabs. The USA, war. That's it. Thomas from Ireland. Amen. What's an Irish dude actually doing on a channel that actually talks about jigging and stuff? Do you guys actually have that there? I'm always curious. I'm pretty sure you guys can do like shore jigging there, man. Home. What is your biggest tip to avoid rock snags when jigging? I use only one assist hook at the top of the jig, but still get caught often. Home, uh, biggest advice is not even the hooks. It's actually the jig. Okay. Now, if you use the jig, a jig that's the weight is just right for the depth that you're fishing, and it's always towards the lighter side. So, like, take for example, the rule, okay, is 1 gram per meter, not per foot. You know, some idiot who doesn't know math actually thought that it would be a good idea to change things, and they go like, "Oh, it's 1 gram per foot." You know, so what it is if you're looking at, let's say, uh, 100 meters. Yeah, I know, man. There are places where it's just too expensive. So the secret to jigs and not getting snagged, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're using lead head jigs with soft plastics, uh, metal jigs, uh, casting jigs, spoons, anything that actually kind of has action and flutters, okay? And higher density. The secret is to actually um, use just enough weight to get down. That's it. So if you're dealing with 100 meters, okay, if you can go 95 at 100 meters and your line supports it, so at about that depth, I would use like P 1.5 or 1. You're not going to get snagged. And it has nothing to do with the hooks, but the the jig doesn't fall down and lodges itself in structure. That's it. And when it does, it just in, um, props itself on top as opposed to actually just pushing it down. So that's it. And I've learned that the hard way. Yeah. I lost 2 jigs from rock strike, top water, save my fishing. Yeah, you know what? Snags, they're kind of a reality. And I used to actually say before when I was working for the company, it's like it's good that snags are there. It's good that barracudas are there because guess what? That's how we earn. I am fishing only maybe 1 5 meters from shore, but don't think about the jig itself. Okay. Your jig rigging videos help a lot local guys not lose their gear all the time. Yes, that's the object, Thomas. You know, although some people think that I'm spewing BS. You once said that Shimano Osha Jigger 3000 HG is the one in which the Osha Jigger range made for slow jigging. Correct. It is because it has a wider spool. Correct. The 3001 is so difficult to find. Yes, and now they've actually released the LD, which is wider and it has a lever drag. I have the new JDM Scorpion 200 on a Phoenix swim bait rod. Usually the best option here, unless you want to deal with the two-piece rod. Yeah. Speaking of that, I have two Phoenixes right here. What are these? I forget what they are, but they're long. I use them to cast lures out and stuff. 8 foot one piece. My God, they're good. But these are Chinese, yeah. The black sub Phoenix rods are actually Chinese. Again, not bad. I just ordered one 3000 from Japan, the only place where I could find. Uh, Slow. Should have bought the LD, man. It's much suited for what do you call this? For slow jigging. But yeah, that's it. You know, um, there's there's a very good reason why wide spools actually give you more distance when casting and also when you're slow jigging. With fast jigging, I have two good examples right here because although they're the same series reels, this is my fast jigging reel and this is my slow jigging reel. Now you can see they're actually the same size. The only difference is that This one has a wider spool. Okay. So basically, what happens is that when you're casting or when you're dropping, the line, okay, goes like that, right? So this is the spool, like that. It goes like that. Okay. On a wide spool, it goes like that, and then it goes like that. Okay. So what happens is if you have a narrow spool, it's going like that, and it's going fast. And when it goes fast, I don't know if you've tried it. When you strip your reel, it it becomes harder to actually take out the line. So when you're dropping down, the velocity, even if it's super free spool, the velocity of the jig going down actually gets slowed down. Okay, so when you first drop your jig, it will be moving slower and slower and slower while it's dropping, and it's at a disadvantage to you because there's resistance from the spool. If your spool is narrow, it gets to that state faster. If the spool is wide and it goes sideways like that, it has room to grow like this, and the shrinking of your stack of line is slower. Okay, so it doesn't get affected by that force. Now, here's the interesting part. Well, this is happening when you engage your drag. You check your drag will be stronger. Okay, so your drag will increase as your line decreases. That's the drag spike, which means that on wider spooled reels, and when you're slow jigging, okay, wider spool reels will have less of a drag spike than narrow spooled reels. And at the same time, wide spooled reels, when you're reeling line in, are faster than narrow spooled reels because it will end up with a bigger stack of line than the narrow spooled reels. And this is very important. A lot of people actually miss out. And, the guys do not understand this. A lot of people do not understand this. And this is one of those things that actually kind of uh, mess things up, as far as the dynamics of reel is concerned, and its relation to how the jig moves. So if your retrieve is faster, okay, what it means is that while you're jigging, the response of the jig will be faster because you're reeling in more line, which means that each time you crank, you're in touch with the jig, you're in contact with the jig. You're either moving it and feeling it. So when the fish actually grabs it, you feel it immediately, right? But if you're moving it too slow, even if you think that it's moving, it's actually not flicking and moving like that. It's just going like this, you know, because of the stretch and all this, the slack. So a faster reel actually will help you. Now, that's an HG wide spool reel. When you're jigging, fast jigging, it doesn't matter. All of these, it kind of doesn't matter. Like when you're reeling, the jig is progressively going faster, okay? Because the line stack gets bigger. So the speed that your jig is moving, well, it's like in 150 meters of water, is slower compared to when it is 50 meters. Okay? Because when you're jigging, the line increases and then the retrieve ratio actually goes higher. Okay? So small circle, wind, line, it's like this long. A bigger circle, you wind line, it's that long. Okay? So you're retrieving that much, okay, versus that much. So there, huge difference. So that's for per turn. Now with fast jigging, you're jigging the whole time. You're moving it. You're moving it. You're not stopping. So the jigs actually kind of, and then it progressively goes faster. That's why when you're jigging and you're not stopping, when you get a bump, you still jig it. What happens is that the fish really thinks that it's getting away because it's progressively going faster. And that's when you get the strike. Alrighty. Japan War, Team Daiwa X Shimano, what you prefer for saltwater durability? Uh, I was sponsored by Shimano. So while I was working for the other company, I was sponsored by Shimano. So I have a lot of Shimano reels. But before that, I actually used my one of the very first, let's say, one of the very first slow jigging reels that I purchased was actually a Saltiga, because on paper the Saltiga has more. You know, the, my sponsorships, I don't really talk about them. Uh, but yeah, I worked with a few companies. You know, and yeah, like earlier, I just said that I actually worked with Studio Ocean Mark. You know. Um, okay. Daiwa and Shimano. Okay. Here's the truth. They're standards. Both of these are standards. So if it's a standard, it means that it doesn't get. They're kind of like the benchmark. Okay. So um, you can't go wrong either with Shimano or Daiwa. Okay. And it all comes down to what's available to you and what you could get. I think the better thing that needs to get emphasized is not even why you should get a Daiwa or why you should get a Shimano. It could be, it should be that you're getting the best model for the intended use. Okay. Now, here's the thing: if you actually check back to this video that I made about jigging reels, I had a huge discussion on exactly what should be a jigging reel. And, wide spool, this and this and that. I said that it's also the reason why my bigger slow jigging reel was actually a Trinidad. I modified the Trinidad instead of an Osha Jigger 2000. And I have an Osha Jigger 2000 that I use for uh, fast jigging because the Trinidad has a wider spool and they're the same size, literally the same size. Only the Trinidad has a wider spool, and I said, Shimano should actually make a reel that's specific for slow jigging because a lot of people are getting into the slow jigging thing. And before you know it, they released the LD, okay, and also said that the reels should be really fast. And then what did they do? They released an XG. So like even when these reels didn't exist, I already had the discussion. I already said that this should be it. And before you know it, it's exactly what I said. You know, that's King. That's my little boy. So yeah, I mean, um, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's actually the guy holding the reel. And then it doesn't matter if it's a Daiwa or Shimano. If the guy knows what he's doing, he'll catch. Uh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, here it's the other way around. A lot of people actually buy the cheaper Daiwas, and then see, the thing is, it kind of makes sense to actually buy the cheaper Daiwas and then go with the higher end Shimanos, for the reason that even the cheap ones have mag seal. And then as far as smoothness is concerned, with a Stella versus a Saltiga, I even uh, out of the box, Stella wins. The bad thing about Daiwa, especially if you're talking about the top end, is the servicing. With the Shimano, you can open it yourself, you can service it yourself, but with Daiwa, because of the mag seal, you can't just open it. You know, uh, kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people. And for me, I like opening my reels. I maintain all my reels and have a shitload. I have like two boxes there, box. Geez, it's work. So it's there. But yeah, I mean, I prefer to have the ability to open and maintain my reels instead of actually sending it out, spending money to get it fixed and stuff like that. So, I mean, for me, I if I know what's broken, I could just order it myself. I just put it there. I don't do it professionally, but I know enough to actually fix my own stuff and fix it enough for it to actually either last long, be better than what it was, and just what do you call this? Um, yeah, just do it on your own. It's easy. It's not rocket science. Uh, Daiwa will not. It's not even their technology, by the way. They just actually just took it. Couldn't agree more. Like, okay, Maxell Rage 80 and 90 will be recommended for some slow jigging, even the retrieve is somehow slow. Your opinion? I'll tell you what. The reason why Maxell exists here in the Middle East is because I brought it down here. Okay, so they're good reels. They're literally the makers of Jigging Master reels. So Jigging Master reels are actually Maxell reels. They build the reels for Jigging Master. If I was gonna use them, no, too heavy, too clunky, uh, noisy, and I'm just talking about how it is, not the colors. So yeah, it's too heavy. And when it comes to slow jigging and even the vertical jigging, fast jigging, you want the combo to be as light as possible because it's a strenuous, repetitive motion. Okay, so the heavier it is, the less sensitive it also is. And this is why you have reels like these. Okay, these are the OGM S2Ts, and they're light, very light. This is PG. My what do you call this? My main reel. This is a 30. This is what I often use because it's like super super light, and this is also an S2T. But sensitivity matters because again, slow jigging is actually a finesse technique, and it is designed in such a way that you're supposed to be getting strikes when the times are tough, which means that there are some fish that actually bite it really lightly, you know. And if you don't have a rod and reel combo that is actually not only balanced but light, light enough for you to get the really faint transmissions on strikes, you're wasting your time. Yeah, people that open reels prefer Shimano here too. Yeah, I mean but what are you gonna do if you buy an expensive Daiwa like a Saltiga dogfight and you're in the middle of a fishing expedition and the mag seal leaks inside? Guess what? It's gonna be very tough to reel, and this is what I don't like about the mag sealing in the reels because it leaks, and once it leaks, it's gonna be very difficult to turn. They'll service it for you for free. And this is the issue with the mag sealed uh, Saltigas. Okay. And then you're going to have to send it out. They're going to have to send it up for here. They send it to France, have it fixed there. And then after that, it gets back to you. It's free. But it sucks because the duration of the time that it gets sent out, guess what? You don't have a reel to go fishing with. Are all the regular non-jigging high-end JDM conventional reels dying? Only a couple talikas sea line. What do you mean, Sean? So all the regular high-end JDM conventional. Um, No, actually, now you're only looking at Shimano, I would presume, because the Shimano line is actually kind of shrinking. But if you look at Daiwa, as far as conventional reels are concerned, I mean, like take for example, the casting reels. Okay, Daiwa has a lot, man. It's not dying. It's not. Yeah, I mean Shimano. They're focused on streamlining things, whereas Daiwa is a bit more experimental. Now, I'll tell you this: look for a Shimano that has a cast control system. Simple as that. Look for a Shimano that has a cast control system. There's none. Sorry. Look for a Shimano reel, a conventional saltwater that has a cast control system. Because obviously you have the Calcuttas and all this, and then it has a cast control system. But yeah, there, like take for example the Calcutta line, just the Calcutta line. Before there was like a Calcutta 700. They don't have it. Yeah, but see, the conventionals in the states are kind of different from what's available in what do you call this? In Japan. There's actually one reel that I really like. It's called a Phantom King and Daiwa. Freaking love it. Freaking love it. It is a rock fishing reel, conventional, and it has a cast control system. But, you know, 400 US. No thanks. You know, um, there are Phantom Genpao, I think that's the name, or Phantom King. Yeah. But there's like these reels are awesome, man. I'm telling you, it's for rock fishing for a specific type of fish. It's like a type of wrasse or something. But Daiwa has some crazy shit. Daiwa has some crazy, and their inventory is actually quite big. Um, you wouldn't believe this, but in Japan, the leader is not Shimano. It's actually Daiwa. So a lot of people prefer Daiwa. Outside of Japan, a lot of people prefer Shimano. And as far as modifying reels are concerned, there's a huge aftermarket parts uh, industry in Japan. As far as that is concerned, you'll find a lot more Daiwa parts than Shimano. But outside of Japan, Shimano. See, here's the thing. Daiwa is actually a legacy brand. They started in the 1950s, whereas Shimano only started in the 70s. So Daiwa has a 20-year lead, and a lot of people grew up with Daiwa as a fishing brand. Shimano, the business for Shimano, or the expertise of Shimano, is actually small moving parts, and they did bikes. And then Shimano just goes like small moving parts. What else? Oh, fishing reels. Boom, there we go. As far as smoothness is concerned, Shimano would always take the cake. Out of the box, Shimano would be smoother because Shimano doesn't have like a break-in period, whereas Daiwa has a break-in period. Daiwa also has fewer moving parts than Shimano. You look at the exploded diagram of Shimano's, and then you'll just go like, "Holy shit!" Whereas with Daiwa, you look at the exploded diagram; they'll have fewer parts, and they have less bearings. So you know that's why Daiwas would seem kind of rougher when it comes to Shimano. But as far as toughness is concerned, data wise, you'll find that just because there's a lot of people using it in Japan, you'll have results that skew towards Daiwa. Obviously, when you're outside of what do you call it? Outside of Japan, it skews towards Shimano. Just because there's a lot more people using them. Having said that, Daiwa USA suck. They don't know what they're doing, um, and they're terrible. They just don't know what they're doing, man. They don't know. They don't know how to promote their shit, even if they have good shit. They don't know how to uh, capitalize on this whole boom of slow jigging. Even if they have good reels and they have okay rods, they don't know how to do it. Shimano has always been better at marketing. So yeah, I mean, especially USA, the US and major craft US. Oh God, you know, uh, in my language or in one of our languages, there's hi naku. It's like, oh well. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not affected by these things. It's just me finding things comical, like Shimano hiring this guy, and he's learning like the rest of everyone, but he's acting like an expert, and that's BS, man. Funny as hell. And yeah, it's it's funny because I've been saying a lot of things that people didn't understand. Like in my earlier videos, I've been saying this. A lot of people thought I was anti-US and stuff. They're like, no, I'm anti-idiot. Because there's shit like one gram per foot. Like it's gram and grams is metric, and then feet is feet is imperial. You don't even mix the two. It's like even with that, it's already dumb. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, any more questions? It is wow 206. Quick JDM question: any option about Yamaga blanks rods? And yeah, uh, all right. These are all Yamagas. Okay, that's that. One, two, three, four. I have another one actually, and then this is a Ripple Fisher, which is actually the company of the daughter of the guys behind Yamaga. Now, if you know Yamaga, you know those things are not cheap, and I have like five or six of them. So, what's my opinion on them? If you can buy them, if you have access to them, go right ahead. Because tell you what, those things, fucking insane. All right. So you have a nine. You are looking at a 93 TZ. Actually, one of those is 995 ml, and yeah, and they're good. I mean, they're the promise. They're expensive as they're expensive as hell. Okay, and the actions are very specific, very specific. So some of those rods, they're limited to three things: vibes. Okay, so the Japanese have these vibes. It's vibrating minnows. It's like the cicadas and the small vibrating lures in the states. Only they're bigger. So vibes, plugs, and small casting jigs. That's it. If you use them for something else, mm. So the 995 ml that I have is actually kind of an all-arounder. Uh, the nickname of that damn thing is Explorer. So you can use like small jigs, plugs, really tiny poppers, really tiny stick baits, and all this. So it's kind of wider. That's why I have it. Okay. Now, when it comes to Japanese rods, the more you pay, the better the rod is, and the better the action, the crisper it is. So even the cheapest Yamagas are actually better than anything that you could ever hold from the US. I can tell you that. There is no rod, even a G Loomis would pale in comparison to a Yamaga. It's just how it is. It's just a different animal. Okay, so yeah, Yamaga definitely one of the brands that you should try out. I've never met anyone who I've never met anyone who used a Yamaga and said like, "My God, man, this thing sucks." You know, if he says that and he's American, he's lying. I take that back. He's not lying. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people grew up on Daiwa, Roberto. Uh, you know, they started in the 1950s, whereas Shimano only started in the 70s. So historically, a lot of dads and a lot of older people that were born in the 40s, 50s, like this, they only know Daiwa. Plus, Daiwa has far fewer moving parts. Now, if you're in a place like Japan, where the service is there, and you know you could just walk into a shop, authorized, and there's a lot of them, authorized Daiwa tackle shop. They have all the tools to fix. They have all the parts. You know, you just go in, wait for the reel to be finished, and then you have it. That's done. That's it, and it's cheap. So yeah, why not? You know, now the aftermarket parts that you can find for Daiwa is mind-boggling. I mean, like holy crap! Even Studio Ocean Mark actually makes spools for Daiwa, and there are some models that are only Daiwa exclusive models. So you know, even a manufacturer like Studio Ocean Mark goes out of its way for Daiwa. So, you know, it's just a very good brand, especially if you're based in Japan. If I was based in Japan, I would probably be using Daiwa a lot more because um, I have a confession to make. Okay, the only time where I used a lot of spinning gear is here. So when I first moved in, when I first moved here, uh, 2006, 2005. So when I first moved to the Middle East, 2005, I had very little. What do you call this? I had very little spinning reels, and in fact, even while I was here, I was using conventional the whole time, conventional and then fly. And then when I started working for this company, uh, I had to. I had to because you know you're shore jigging and you're using what do you call this, an overhead reel, which we don't have, overhead rod, which we weren't selling, so people cannot relate, and had like a pretty good following over at Instagram then, and yeah, it was kind of difficult for people to understand that I was using like rods and reels that were not available for sale. So it kind of made sense for me to actually use our products. And at the same time, you know, there was a sponsorship by Shimano because that brand and Shimano, they're kind of like, you know, one company. So um, that was that free stuff, you know. So I got some bait casting reels. And then I didn't have the longer rods that I needed for shore jigging, but I had access to the rods for from Shimano and for well the brand, you know, were different. Actually, this brand holds like 12 different brands, hooks, you know. Um, yeah, one of the companies hooks and line. So I had sponsors even for shades. So, you know, I had to use all of those just so that I'd be able to market for them, of course, because I was in charge of the sales and marketing for the whole region. And that was it. So, yeah, Daiwa. Yeah. Very first offshore outing, and I was actually Guru. What's up? What do you call this? I don't have my glasses. So I was like, what? Yeah, hey, nice of you to join. Um, what do you call this? Yeah, funny story, guys. Funny story. So I worked for this company, right? And we were testing out a jig. And if you're lucky enough to actually find, and I'm not gonna fucking share it because it's embarrassing as fuck. But if you're able to find the international version of the 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 advertisement, the ad that they ran for the hooks, you can see me in the video. Uh, but this particular trip that we went that they used for this ad, we were testing out a new jig, okay? And at that point, the stuff that I asked for have not arrived yet. But since, there was a trip and I needed to go and get some results, I had to go. So I went, um, and man, my manager, is so funny. The guy I was reporting to, he is so funny because he saw that I was catching fish and all this, and he was like, wow, okay, cool. And I was catching tuna. So it was actually a really cool video. So it was like, yeah. And this guy, I used to call him Uncle P, and he used to call me Junior. So he just goes like, "Hey, Junior." I was like, "Yeah, Uncle P." He goes, "Nice reel." And I was like, "Shit," because the reel's supposed to be a Shimano, right? And Shimano was our brand, and it's like a two pillars, right? One was Shimano and one was this brand. So he was just like, uh, uh, "What do you call this? Nice reel." I was like, "Fuck." So what happened? After that, a few days after, reels started arriving. So since then, that was it, Shimano. Zenak. Okay, Zenak, really good rods, but they're kind of fragile. Okay. I have nothing against those rods. It's just that there's a lot of breakages when it comes to them. But the actions and all that, and it's great. You just have to be kind of careful. You know, I'd rather use a Yamaga or Ripple Fisher. So for my casting GT and tuna rods, I actually use two brands. Hots, I like the Hots Gipang because this motherfucker of a rod, man, holy shit, you can really pull back and put some hurting on the fish. Hots Gipang, it's my main rod, and then my stick bait rod is an OSHA plugger. And then my other popping rod is a ripple fisher. And that's it. So I had the chance to actually buy a Zinac. I was actually supposed to be given a Zinac, but nah, not for me. They're kind of fragile. Yeah. And I don't want to be stuck in Oman somewhere, and then after that, with a broken rod. But yeah, they're not bad. Okay, they're not bad, but yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. It's just that you have to be very careful. Now, see, here's the problem. Okay, this is something that you need to be very careful of. I'll show you an example with a pen. Okay, we use this table right here. What? How is? Okay, I'm trying to figure out how. Here. Okay, so this is your rod, yeah, the blank. See this edge here? Yeah, happens too often you don't even know. When you're traveling in the car, pickup truck, tack, 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 tack. No. Xanax are actually notorious for that. Micro nick, bye bye. That's it. So yeah, man. Just be careful. They're good rods. They work really well. It's just that yeah, kind of fragile. Um, Apia is also the same. They're kind of in the league with each other as far as Apia is concerned. Very good rod. President and vice president, actually really good people as well. They're actually friends and well, not friends but acquaintances. I met them, and a few, I think early last year, they actually uh, Hey, thanks, James. Uh, all good, man. Just sharing, dude. Really, I'm thinking that with what this industry actually gave me, um, I just feel that after all the BS that you see around, it just thought that there should be a voice that's actually correct. you know, uh, Here in California, your techniques help me a lot. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, as far as techniques are concerned, James, they could be anywhere. Salamat po. Yeah, that's Tagalog. It's something that my wife would say. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, cool. Everyone understands that. That's cool. Um, uh, Charles, okay. Um, I think, I think, uh, as far as Zinak is concerned, okay. Uh, when you're fishing off rocks and stuff like that, and then yeah, that's it. Just be careful. But the biggest damage that it always sustains is not when you're fishing. It's actually when you're traveling. Alrighty, so just keep that in mind, but because I don't want to go live the next time and then you just go like, guess what? Shit. That would suck, man. That would suck. Here's a question though. How's the warranty on that rod there? Any recommendation for mass 80 gram SPJ rod? No, actually, that range is very difficult to find. I would say something like deep liner bit, but I'll tell you what, for the kind of rod that is, okay, and for the amount of money that you're spending, and especially bringing it to where you are, forget it, man. Forget it. You I designed a rod that uh, is never going to see the light of day, uh, but it's in that range. Carpenter rods, yeah, they're good, man. I have one. I have one somewhere. I just don't know where it is right now, but it should be in the either that bunch or that bunch. I don't know, but I have one, and then I have that and a fisherman as well. So yeah, carpenter rods are OG rods, dude. And they're really good. The actions are really good. Um, Price is also really good, so it will burn a hole through your pocket. You know, I would rather use a carpenter rod than Charles. Get this, I would use a carpenter than a Zina. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. So, oh my god. But yeah, that's it. The carpenter rods, they're freaking awesome, man. As you guys can probably tell, I'm still coughing. Hold on. Let me open a window. So, hey, carpenter versus ripple fisher, because ripple fisher is actually lighter. So yeah, I have a ripple fisher right there. But yeah, definitely a ripple fisher. The ripple fisher is a Yamaga on steroids. So ripple fisher, if you don't know, it's a sub brand of Yamaga. So Yamaga has a factory, right? Yamaga has a factory, and Ripple Fisher has a section there that's just about as big as this room, and that's it. It's a small portion of the Yamaga factory, and they're churning out freaking rods. They're just phenomenal. Um, they worked with SOM, and the new reels that are going to be released, the 75 and the 105, they are designed with one of the Ultimo rods in mind. So when the prototypes were tested, um, imagine this is like they're not a small reel. Yeah, they're actually like a 50 wide for what do you call this, for the 75. And the owner, okay, who I was chatting with earlier today, he told me, this guy's old. He said that the longest cast, um, oh, quite big, Sean. Actually, there are companies that actually do that. Takami Technos is one. Uh, Medusa Custom Works or MC Works, they're actually also doing customs. So yeah, it's big in Japan. They probably do it better than the guys over at the States. Just because they're Japanese. They're kind of, when it comes to, the Japanese are born with an with the automatic OCD. You know, that's them. That's their culture. They obsess about the smallest thing, and they'll probably spend a lot of time just doing raps and perfecting it. Whoa, Mr. Phillips. Konnichiwa. So yeah, what do you call this? Ripple fishing. And as far as that is concerned, and I have a very nice rod here, and it's a custom. It's freaking rare now. Um, and it was, I think, a carpenter or a fisherman that was actually made specifically for this place, and you can't buy it anywhere else. And I have one of 50. So yeah, without competition, we will never know. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I have a message I left you in Instagram, Owen. So you might find that interesting. Righty. um, yeah, without competition, definitely. You know, it's just that. Well, I agree with competition. Okay, I agree with competition. It's just that some James, it's the fishing kit. It's the same. It's the same. You just type the fishing kit, and I'm there. Uh, Same username. Alrighty, Owen. Cool, man. Take it easy. Owen's actually in Okinawa, so lucky guy. uh, what I don't like about the aspect of competition is that there are some people that are so engrossed with their brand and that they become so close-minded, and they think that whatever they represent is the best. Well, no, it's not. In most cases, it could be number one for like a year, and then before you know it, it's in a different state after. So yeah, I mean, you can't. And this is what's well, this is what was awesome with the last company I worked for. Yeah, because we weren't encouraged to actually say, "Oh, we're the best," because we know that we're not. We're the largest, but that doesn't make you the best. The hooks, they had really good hooks, or they have really good hooks. Um, but are they the best? No, because at the end of the day, everyone's looking at Japan for the innovation. That's why when it comes to like videos like this and stuff, like there are a lot of people that kind of argue and all this. And yeah, okay, you're entitled to argue, you're entitled to your own opinion and all that. It's just that I know better because I come from an industry standpoint and I've seen stuff that a lot of people haven't seen. So, there are a lot of people that are saying that, hey, this is the best and this and that. Yeah, great. Yeah. But then, yeah. Used to be considered one of the best in the world. It's like energy usage greedy was incorporated. Yeah, yeah. Cost, yep, yep, yep. See, one guy, the fishing tackle channel, actually said something that's really true. He said that it's because of corporate greed in America. And yeah, it's correct. It's exactly what I'm saying. I'm just talking about custom rod wrapping is more of an art, hard to judge. Yeah, yeah. But again, the Japanese being Japanese, you know what I mean? Now imagine what they do with rope. Just the rope, for the katanas. Imagine what they do, and that's like part of their culture. So imagine when it comes to wrapping rods. It's some crazy shit, man. I've seen some crazy shit in Japan. It's like the Japanese have a gene in them that makes them OCD for anything that they are interested in, and they always go over the top. It's very rare to find a quality like that, you know, in the West. Remember that, let's say for the sword play, okay, they will swing a certain way their whole life, their whole fucking life, just that one motion, you know. If for us we look, we just go like, oh, that's the same motion. For them, even the slightest variation is already incorrect, you know. Barbecuing, yakitori, how they skewer and everything, even if they you see like how they skewer, it's really fast, it's beautiful and all this, and then they always say it takes 3 years to learn how to cut, or it takes 1 year to learn how to cut a chicken. It takes 3 years to learn how to skewer, and it takes a lifetime to learn how to grill. Imagine people grill their whole lives. It's like you can't find dedication like that outside of the other cultures, I lost half of your history. Did you migrate them from Japan to US into right, right? No, 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 no. So from the Philippines, I actually went to the Middle East. So 2005 here. What are your thoughts on the latest Zenith jigging rods? Haven't used one yet. Attempting to try. But as far as my grapplers haven't let me down. No, Zenith, man. Yeah, I have experience on them because, believe it or not, I brought that brand here, and the shop is actually selling them. And I met the representative in Japan a couple of times. He's a kind of a weird guy, strange fella, you know. And like another time, I'll talk to you about this. How weird this guy is. But Zenith rods are I would say like a third tier rod, you know. So kind of probably similar to major craft, something like that. So yeah, man. I mean, grapplers are good. Grapplers are good, and if they haven't let you down, just do that. Don't look elsewhere. You know, I think the pricing on Zenith is actually kind of what do you call this? Kind of shall we say very attractive. You know, but man, okay. Let me tell you this. So this guy, we already knew that it was him, right? And we were supposed to be on a meeting. He went like this, dude. So we were here standing, right? We were here standing, and he went like this. And then he introduced himself to us. And he did that each and every single time we met. That's so fucking weird, dude. This was in Japan, in Osaka. Short videos from Zanak Rockshore jigging playlist. They are the best in this style of fishing. You know what? There's other brands that are actually really good when it comes to Rockshore, not just Zanak. Some fishing guys are weird. Like a lot of fishing guys are weird, James. Come on. Come on. Everyone knows. You and I, everyone in this fucking chat, they're all fucking weird. We know that. It's not just some. It's like everyone that fishes is one in one way or another. Just fucking weird. I mean, come on, man. You're pitting yourself against someone or something that has a brain. You're spending so much money for a chance. Think about it. You're not spending to catch because you know what? If you just want fish, the amount of money that you're spending on fishing gear is actually not even half, or not, yeah, that you'll spend less than half of what you would be spending on fishing gear if you just went out to the market and bought fish. You're investing for a fucking chance to catch. Dude, if that's not weird, I don't know what is. We're all mentally unstable, man. Palms is like very similar to major craft. And some major crafts are actually lighter than palms. So, yeah, man. The tug is the drug. A friend of mine actually always says that, and you know, he's into rub and tugs. So the tug is the drug. Yeah, we used to say that a lot in fly fishing, man. And when it comes to just adrenaline rush, when it comes to fishing, if the learning curve on fly fishing wasn't too difficult, I'd tell everyone to just go fly fishing. But even casting the damn thing is already like uh, plus 50s in skill level. So forget it. I spent a good few years actually doing the rounds on fly fishing. Lighter, better. You're right. Yeah. Yep. 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 And yeah. I mean, it's not to say because I use a lot of major craft, but as far as palms is concerned, as far as quality is concerned, I think that you'll be able to, if you choose carefully, I think major craft will actually give you a better deal. You know, um, I think palms in the earlier days did a good job at marketing. Fly fishing is not as fun because it's mainly trout fishing here on fly, very small fish. Oh man, James, I catch tuna on fly. We prefer the tide assist hooks with flash bucktail or traditional hooks and cord. Um, you know what? A very good answer for that would be when it's shallow. I prefer. Uh, oh, dude, like saltwater fly fishing. I've not touched freshwater fly fishing, and I have the clear distinction of actually being a civilian, okay, not a guide or anything, but I'm probably the one that has caught the most milkfish. It's literally the hardest fish to catch, but I've probably caught the most milkfish as a civilian, not as a fishing guide. But I have like 36. So yeah, but tuna, yeah, that's fun. It's fun. And I caught tuna on a reel or a combo that's actually meant for shallower water and not meant for blue water fishing. It's a 10 weight. So imagine catching a nice tuna. What's that? Yeah, nice tuna on a 10 weight. The reel handle actually hit my balls while I was reeling it in because I put it in my crotch to pull back, and the reel just or the fish just fucking ran. The handle just hit my balls. Telling you that wasn't fun. I've seen people catch marlin on a huge fly rod. Seems insane. Yeah, I have a fly rod that I can catch tuna with. So I was preparing for that. I was actually preparing for large yellowfin tuna of about 50 kg. But yeah, Palm still has some nice cork handles. Been wanting to order for sure. Yes, I think that's one of the things that that's good with palms because it has like a cork handle. But then again, when you're saltwater fishing and you're holding fish as slimy and all that crap, you know, uh, not cool. Its cork is all right, but especially when you're doing something rough like shore jigging, it's it's kind of a disadvantage. But then again, you know what? That particular rod with the cork handle, if they put a hypalon there, it's gonna get heavier. So yeah, let's think about that. Do you have your own tuna fly set up on you? Can we see? Oh God, man. All right. I can show you the rod, but the reel, I don't know where the reel is. I know that the reel. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I have the reel. All right. Okay. Uh, I'm not giving anyone a blowjob. Okay. So basically, I have to go under the table and take the rod from there. Okay. So if you think that I'm actually going on the table to go down on someone, fuck you. Ah, all right. There we go. That's the rod. I'm gonna get a reel. Actually, I have two reels, but let's see which one I can find first. So I haven't spooled this yet. Okay, so this is here we go, up to a 15 weight, and this is a Colton fly reel, and these reels are actually designed for bluefin tuna, like really big bluefin fucking tuna. Okay, so really really smooth, and for its size, actually um, quite tough. The guy behind this is a real bro, man. Holy shit, he's a bro. Yeah, this thing. There's one guy who was in a wheelchair. Yeah, it's sealed. In a fucking wheelchair, Tread Barta. That motherfucker used the fly rod of the king of Norway. Caught a fucking marlin with this fucking reel, with a bamboo rod. If that's not badass, I don't know what is. But check him out. His name is Tread Barta. So that's the reel. If she is cute and clean, it's okay. Uh, uh, yeah, I mean, she's called my wife. Saltwater fly is starting to really take off over here. Bloody scary, going for GTs out in the reef, and that's the GT. Holy scary. Okay, so this is an old school TFO. I got this brand new, and it's fucking rare as hen's teeth now. So, James, I'm gonna tell you something that we say in Filipino. Okay, don't say bad words. That question is fucking illegal. You know, like imagine if I'm telling you exactly how much these things fucking cost, and my wife actually walks in. Smells bad. So yeah, I was preparing to actually go, and I wasn't able to. But this is a three-piece, I believe. Saltwater flake. I like the Abu Ghraib jigging rod. Short first, very thin for 300 grams. Ocean Field. Okay, so that's that. Oh, it's four-piece. Thank you, Roberto. Oh, it's three-piece. Right, so, yeah, it's look at that. It still has the plastic and stuff. So I was gearing up to go, and I wasn't able to. So I just kind of. This is, mind you, this is the first time that this is being put together. So James, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. So there's the rod. Okay. And when you're fighting, it's like, yeah, but I mean, that's normal for fly fishing rods, James. Sorry, that's Sean. It's normal for fly fishing rods. cork. So all my fly fishing rods have cork. If it's not cork, it's a cheap piece of shit. So this is also Portuguese cork, motherfucker. You know, it's not just cork, it's Portuguese cork, grade A. So there's like shit like that in fly fishing. I'm telling you, fly fishing is so fucking snobbish. But see, yeah, so this combo right here, okay, can catch a 50 kilo yellowfin tuna, no sweat. Oh, Charles, what do you call this, man? Good luck, man. Tight lines, and hope you catch a big one, dude. Fly fishermen are tweakers. I'll tell you this, okay? Fly fishermen are different. Uh, when it comes to fly fishing, um, there's less bullshit. Okay, so when it's skill in fly fishing, there's no substituting. It's not something that you just pick up and say like, oh, I'm gonna fly fish, and then oh, I'm a fly fisherman after 5 minutes. It's not. Fly fishing is a skill. Fly tying is a different skill. So even if you fly fish, it's not a guarantee that you're a good fly tyer, you know. And if you tie flies, it's not a guarantee that you're a good fly fisherman. It's a different thing, man. It's just so different. But yeah, uh, just being able to cast 60 feet, 60 fucking feet. Okay, it's not as simple as a lot of people think, you know. And being able to cast the whole fly line, which is 100 feet, is reserved for about 5% of the total fly fishing population. So think about that. Think about that. 5% of the total fly fishing population can cast the whole fly line. And about 2% can cast fly line plus change, meaning fly line and a bit of backing. So yeah, it's no bull when it comes to that. Oh man, I have not seen this in a really long time. So yeah, thank you very much for asking. Any railrod? Yeah, I have one somewhere, but I haven't unpacked it yet. I have a seeker railrod. Um, I have a couple of. Um, I wonder if I can actually take that shit without damaging it. I have two deckhand specials, which I really love, and believe it or not, I have a. Believe it or not, I have an accuratized Jigmaster 501. All right. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will. Okay, imagine that, an accuratized Jigmaster 501. So it's not that I'm not familiar with California style fishing. I am very, because you know why? A friend of mine, it happens to be one of my best friends, um, he was a deckhand in the Mission Bell when it had its first owner. Okay. And he brought a lot of California style gear, including irons. I'm very familiar with the 6X fucking juniors, salas, uh, caddies, candy bars, and shit. So I had them. I've used them. Yeah, there we go. So um, if you're old school, okay, his name was Joe, the Japanese dude. So this was back in the time, in the day when uh, the skipper was Sueño. Uh, irons. Yeah, yeah. I mean, irons. I've caught like Dorados here. I've caught tuna on them and stuff like that. My uh, my accuratized jig master actually mounted it on the deckhand special. Used mono and then just you know cast it out and stuff. But yeah, so I think the original owner or the second owner of the Mission Bell, he used the deck for that guy, and literally grew up in the Mission Bell. And he actually went to the Philippines and stayed there for a while. So I had access to all his rods and all his gear, and we went fishing together. And yeah, I mean, we fished with irons, we fished with live bait and stuff. I mean, like, dude, I know tricks like, with sardine flicking eyes and cutting tails and shit like that. He taught me. So yeah, and then um, kind of diverged from there because he went back to the states. He's now in the states. Um, Stopped working. He's working somewhere else now. But man, this guy was a really good fisherman. Old school trick. You can use it on yeah. It's so if you're cutting the tail, if you cut it here, okay, it will actually swim up. You cut the lower part, it will swim down. So you could do that. You flick the right eye out of the socket, it will make the fish swim in circles going left. And if you flick the opposite eye, it does it on this, kind of goes around in circles in the opposite direction. So if you flick the left eye off, yeah. So yeah, dude. I mean, fuck. I'm telling you. So these motherfuckers are actually, commenting like, "Oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that?" Well, fuck you. I know more than you, motherfucker. So um, yeah, man, it's like stuff like that. It's just that for me, it's not. I don't fish with live bait a lot. Tell you honestly, um, I should actually. It's not as if the capability isn't there. I can and I would probably, especially since we moved here. And that's why I'm kind of excited. I'm also kind of excited to show you guys, um, what I've learned, UK fishing style, South African fishing style, and stuff. Uh, um, okay, you guys want to see a really weird rod? Who's on here? Let's do a roll call. So Sean's here, James is here, uh, Charles just left. So who else is here? Just comment because I'm gonna show you guys something really fucking weird. Check this out. This is a spinning rod. Hey, what's up, Z? Owen is still here. Okay, look. You see that? Look at the handle. You see? And this is a shore fishing rod and reel. And I think there's some guys that actually kind of have seen this. But see, here's the thing. When you cast this, you're holding it with your left hand and you're casting with your right. Okay? As opposed to actually doing it like that, right? So you're actually doing this kind of different. So you cast it like that. Boom. Okay? Now here's the thing. there are also overhead versions of this. Okay, and this is what I want to show you guys because I do all sorts of fishing, guys. I do all sorts of fishing. This is the technology that goes with this, the bait technology that goes with this type of fishing, fucking insane. So, there's overhead versions of that where you have the reel here, short handle, and then long handle here. And when you cast those things, holy shit, they just fly. I'm telling you, it's nothing like when you cast that thing. Okay, well, actually, when you cast these things, you guys want to see that? Uh, Owen, yes and no. The problem with the LV is that if the guides are not configured correctly, it actually contributes to um, line twist. So yeah, it kind of looks like an LV rod, but the LV rod actually has big guides. These guys don't. So yeah, uh, long cast design, Andy, correct? Yes, yes. Okay, you guys want to see the overhead version? All right. See, they come in, and this is a South African brand, Kingfisher. Okay, we can't buy these rods anymore. But see, here's the thing: Kingfisher is actually Daiwa. Daiwa. So comes in three pieces. Okay, this is the top end range of this, and this is rated for like 2 ounce. That's it. Okay, so see, these things are so light. It's fucking amazing. Okay, I'll show you how light. So this is actually, I think, 12 feet or thereabouts. Is it? Yeah, 12 feet. Okay, now check this out. 12-foot rod. This is probably going to stick out the window too. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to hold this, okay, like that. Okay, just so you can see how light it is. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Okay, you know how awkward this is to hold if it was heavy? Look at that. See? Look at that. This thing is so fucking light. So yeah, I mean, you cast like this, okay, and then holy shit, man! I'm excited to actually show you guys how all of this is done. Um, and man, it's just so hard to actually fucking take. But I have these, okay, made by Shimano, the Technium. So yeah, it's what do you call this? You watch Sean's YouTube from SA Fishing Corner or something like that. He uses the clear glass rods by them when live baiting for tuna. Uh, I can't say I have, Owen. By the way, shouldn't you be working? You said you just popped in to check things, and then you're still here. And so here's the thing, guys. Right? I have versions of that are actually for big sharks and big rays. And believe it or not, there is a rod there for uh, class preparation. Of course, Mr. Phillips. Of course. Um, James, you literally flick the eye out of the socket. You literally take the eye off the socket. Um, what do you call this? I have rods here for a thorium 50. Imagine a fucking thorium 50, you mount on a fucking rod and you cast the damn thing. Imagine. So, it's what do you call this? Yeah, James, it's very situational. So when you're faced with fish that are homed in on, let's say it's a dead calm sea, okay, and what you want is to throw a lob a bait out, and you want it to stay on the surface, just going around in circles. And if the tuna are keying in on fish that are injured, when you're throwing and they get slammed on the water and then they stay like that. So this is a technique to use to just flick the eye and then cast out. So basically, what they do is just go around in circles and stuff, and then tuna will just go up and bite it. I've actually caught tuna here doing that with goggle eyes. Uh, when does class start, Owen? Man, you must be one of the coolest teachers there, huh? Jeez. I wish my teacher was as cool as you. Anyway, so I have reels that I've actually magnetized for this purpose, and yeah. But see, here's the thing, right? Um, some guys in South Africa are doing the same, catching uh, big big ass ragged tooth sharks, bull sharks, huge rays, and they're all doing it on spinning reels. Imagine, So we're talking about the beach fishing there in California and what these guys are catching, stuff like that. Drone fishing is illegal in South Africa. They ruled it out. But imagine these dudes actually doing like shark fishing and catching big rays and shit. Like imagine a ray that's as big as the hood of a Land Rover, and they're using like 14,000 size reels and 15-foot rods. I mean, how cool is that compared to fucking trolling rods? Jeez, man. Tried to drop baits with my drone and I crashed and destroyed my $500 drone. I don't know what to say, James. Ouch. Uh, um, there's and what do you call this? The Imagine from the beach, okay, and being able to send bait. So basically, there's a technique called slide baiting, which was invented in Hawaii. But now, how people are slide baiting is that before you have to be in a cliff. Okay, so this is the cliff. You have your line like that, and then you slide the baits in, slide the baits out into the ocean. But now these fuckers in South Africa, they can actually do the same thing on flat ground from the beach. And they have devices for that, which I actually kind of make on my own. Um, so yeah, one-way slides, exactly. You know, uh, I think I have instructions on how to make them in my channel as well. So there's technology like that people in the States are not too familiar with. I mean, there's some people that are actually kind of doing it there. Uh, but how they prepare their bait and all this, it's fucking nuts, man. And that's the type of bait fishing that I do. So yeah, kind of different, and I want to show it. Hold on. Let me see if I can arrange things here a bit. Uh, Okay, so what do we have here? American rods. All right, so some Aussie just paddled a bait out on a surfboard. Australians, they're yeah something else. So in this bundle right here, we actually have Phoenix rods, two of them. You can see here. What is this actually? M1, M1 inshore series. All right. So oh yeah, and there's a UK style rod right here. You can see there's uh, it's a reel with sliding freaking sliding reel seat, so you could put it low if you want. You could put it higher. This is also an overhead one. And here, no, not a Century. I forget the brand. Maybe it is, huh? I don't know. Uh, this is the other half of the UK style rod. Then Seeker 2, as you can see, this one's still brand new. Um, that can special. See? And an old school pen slammer um, live bait rod. So, so yeah. All right, Owen. Catch ya later. Balloon rig, yeah. You could use a balloon rig with live bait. They're kind of effective. Last summer, 50-pound ray. Holy shit, on 8 pound? Wow, that's insane. I actually love what do you call this? I love catching rays. There's a video of me catching a ray using a small jig, and we recorded everything uh, from start to finish, and it was on 4 pound test line. It wasn't that big, but it was fun, and most of all, it was pretty cool because it actually hit a tiny jig, and it was a prototype jig. But actually, you know what? It was a pre-release color. That's A, and B. It was with. I was actually testing the assist hook that it came with because I helped Sea Falcon develop the assist hooks on them. So yeah, I mean, catching that fish. I think there's. I mean, you just look for it in the channel, but there's that. I think what was the title? I don't know, but it's just there. Yeah, but mine actually had it in the mouth. That was pretty cool, and you could see me from start to finish. Me casting out, working the jig, and then getting hit, and all that. So it's a good video, I guess, because I was also showing people. Um, I kind of took the opportunity to make it as an instructional video. So eh, I actually show how to turn the fish on light line. So I don't know. For some people, I guess it's useful. Um, Jerk bait. It's kind of weird. What kind of ray was it? Mine was a cow nose, and man, these things can fight, huh? Um, But 50 pounds, man, that's insane, dude. On 8 pound, that's fucking insane. Well done. Took a lot of patience, huh? And it's also surf. Holy shit. Mine was in the Palm Island, so you know it was sheltered water and everything. There was some raging currents though, but that was That was pretty cool capturing it. Um, Back in the day, um, I caught like 50 kilo, 52 kilos. I think it was a cow nose as well, or a honeycomb. So it's either a cow nose or a honeycomb, but 52 kilos. And believe it or not, it was on a 15-foot rod, and the reel that I used was an Avid 50 Who X with a cast control. So I used that in the surf, with a big ass sinker, freaking casted it out and stuff. Didn't really expect that something was gonna eat it. And then after a good, yeah, a good few tussles, actually got it in and released it. But that motherfucker was huge, man. It was like thick as hell, you know. And yeah, I would have to look it up. Just our normal stingrays here in Monterey, they call them mud marlins. Oh, there we go. So Sean and James, maybe you guys could go fishing. Oh, I know a girl from San Mateo. Biblically, know a girl from San Mateo, if you know what that means. Uh, Jeez, man, this is so cool. This is just like hanging out with friends, huh? This is what I love about like just going live randomly. So I'm just refreshing the tab and seeing it's like, man, that video is actually doing well, huh? Guys, like the video if you haven't yet, please, because that needs the algorithm to. Here's kind of like what I don't like. Um, I don't understand the motivation behind unliking a video, like giving it a thumbs, thumbs down. You know, I what for if you get butt hurt, you give it a thumbs down. It's so weird. There's like really good videos, really good discussions on things, and for me, I want to be as transparent as possible. Um, and that's the deal. Even when I'm working with brands, the deal is whatever I say, I should be transparent and stuff. And then there's always this one guy who would dislike it, and I don't understand why. You know, I try to be as transparent as possible, and I don't invent things. You know, I'm spewing out statistics and stuff that I actually do some work on. So I dig stuff up just so I know what I'm saying is actually accurate, and I get statistics from white papers, so it's factual. It's not something that's invented. Like take for example the the stuff that I said about 1425. There's no other record anywhere else on earth of a society that collectively started fishing more than the Japanese. Like when I said that they found old fishing hooks in Okinawa, that wasn't random. It's true. 22 what 2000 or 22,000 years they've dated it. So like with this, I'm actually saying factual things. I'm not saying that American rods are bad. You know, all I'm saying is that they're the way they are because of how the market was created. You know, the reaction of the corporations to what the market is, and I don't understand why people would actually like kind of dislike it. So it's kind of weird, man. You know, so I know there's guys that just go to the channel and dislike random videos or whatever. That's all and good for them, but it's kind of stupid, you know. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want that kind of information? It's something that actually makes you understand. And you know, if you're the type of person, bat race, yeah, holy crap, James, you know what happens to you if you hold it, the bat race? You'll be Batman. Anyway, so yeah, I don't understand why there's a motivation for people to actually dislike videos. I mean, for me, if I don't like the video, I just leave. I just say like, oh, it's stupid. I leave. Yeah, but it's so weird for them to actually take the time to actually move the mouse and click on dislike, right? If you like the video, like the video. That's it. If you have something to say, comment. That I'm not, you know. Yeah. Um, yeah, they're scavengers, so they kind of just what do you call this? But see, here's the thing. I love the fight. I love the fight. Hey Rashid, how's it going, man? How are things over there? Is it stormy? Man, I'm telling you, there's so many videos that say all the wrong things, and they're so confident at saying it, And I'm just like, wow, holy crap! Why do they do that? It's crazy. And there's some videos from California actually, and after watching a few seconds, he goes like, "Oh my god, man, holy crap! I don't understand why people actually watch it. It's fucking brain rot, you know." And here I am making videos that are actually fucking helpful if you take the time to what do you call this to actually watch, and if watch it with an open mind, because the fact of the matter is, um, I'm quite frank, So in real life, if you meet me, uh, what you see is what you get. What you don't is better yet. That's all. That's always what I say. What you see is what you get, man. That's it. This is me. I don't do anything else. You know what I mean? So I'm as me as I can be. So whatever I'm saying here is exactly what I'm saying offline or wherever. My personality here is exactly what I am outside of here. So I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. Uh, yeah, I mean, you can get away with that, by the way, James. You can. It's just that it gives the jig more action. You know, forget about people. No, Rashid, of course, that's what I do, and this is the whole reason why I have this anyway. But it's just so weird, man. And then um, what frustrates me with the channel is that there's a lot of videos that actually share dumb shit, and they're getting more views. So here I am, endorsed by quite a few brands. We have Owner, we have Studio Ocean Mark, we have Deep Liner, Garage Nagi, we have Momoy. What else? Shimano. Fuck, man, my first giveaway was Shimano. You know, a digital cast control reel, Hots, uh, and many more. We have so many people supporting us, and legit. If you talk to these guys, they'll tell you, like, yeah, Kit knows what he's talking about. By people in the industry. And here are some guys in a random place talking nonsense, and they're getting more views. Why? It's weird, man. Well, James, I always say, if I help someone, like one person, I'm happy. Um, uh, there was one time, I'll tell you this story. There was this one time, this guy was totally fucking clueless. He had the gear and all that. And we were fishing. and fishing was slow, really, really slow. And then he's a new guy, so I just walked up to him, and then I told him like, okay, man, this is what you do. I didn't, I just gave him instructions. He was literally beside me, and I just said like, okay, just give it more line, da, 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 da. And then when you start jigging, don't jig the usual, do it like this, So I told him what to do and stuff. That motherfucker got struck and brought in a 50-pound fucking amberjack. And the day was so fucking slow. We only caught two other fish that are like tiny. But this motherfucker caught a 25 fucking kilo amberjack. And he was just like looking and he couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, when you're doing shit properly, that's what happens. So, there's no doubt. I mean, the president of Studio Oceanmark, we went fishing, and then two guys were my students. And I taught one guy since he was 6, and one guy that I told them to recruit. And then I said, like, I want to take him under my wing and shit. So these guys are still learning from me, right? When we go fishing with the president of Studio Oceanmark, and he couldn't help it. He just put his rod down and just sat down and just started watching these two guys. They're not young; they're like in their 20s. So they were just looking, and he was just shaking his head. And he was like, "My God, kid! Like these guys, you can see that they got their style from you." He said, "Like it's amazing." And that was the day he offered me the pro staff position for Studio Oceanwork. He couldn't fucking believe it. He just said like, "Wow, we need someone like you to talk about things for us." And said like, "How can we support you?" So I mean, you have people like that. You have companies behind me and shit. And then here comes a guy who's selling Chinese stuff, right? And people listen to him. I find that weird. I mean, James, like take for example for you are using the system that they actually kind of proliferated. As soon as you started listening to me, you said so yourself. Hey, Patch. So you said so yourself. It changed. It changed the way you fish, right? So if you still kept on listening to these fuckers, nothing would have changed. So I don't understand why they could easily get like 30,000 views on a crappy video, and I'm getting like 1,000. Yeah, social media is a strange thing. But see, here's the thing, right? Um, the kind of the kind of information that they relay is actually brain rot, I would say. And I don't believe that these guys are not actually watching my channel. I'm pretty sure they come across a video or two, you know. Yes, yes. And there's a very good reason for that. Okay? Because here's the thing, if you go fishing, there's just too much distraction, and whatever you're trying to convey will get lost instead of actually, focusing on education itself. All pukey. How much? This whole room. Okay, you want to see? All right, so this is one bag, old pukey. You know what these are? Okay. Here. Okay. So These two models are Ota Garage here. Okay. Uh, these two are priceless because they're prototypes. So there. Uh, okay. Uh, this is a Z Japan. This is an ordinary one. This is a factory tuned uh, blue safari, and I have two more coming, which is the L75 and the Z Japan blue safari. Just look up the prices. Just look up the prices of one of these reels. Curl cord hook remover. I think I have the. I don't know where they are, Punch. I still haven't unpacked. Let me try. Nope. No, I thought I had it in one box, but it's not. So it's somewhere here. I don't know where, but it's somewhere here. So yeah, nice case. Yes, it's a pretty awesome case. It's from Huts. There's the brand. So, and then don't get me started with the rods. See those there, and then there, and then there, and then I have here. So rods here, there, more there. Uh, this is my fishing room. So, but see, here's the difference. For me, it's work, so it's work. Uh, those two reels. Uh, it's work. So I can't get rid of my tools. It's work. Literally, I work with companies to create products. So I need all these for comparison, for what do you call this? Prototyping, modeling, and stuff like that. So yeah, I need. In fact, my library isn't nearly enough. So I have different types of ultralight rods, different types of ultralight reels. I have overheads for this, overheads for that. I have spinning. I've just shown the guys here. You know, First setup, I still have it in the Philippines. Yes, it was a Daiwa. So yeah, it was given to me by my uncle, and I snapped the tip. So just as quickly as I felt the euphoria of owning a rod and reel. But yeah, um, my dad was also big on fishing, and uh, we were fortunate enough to have the space for storage, put it that way. So we have a couple of warehouses dedicated for our fishing gear, and that's in the Philippines. So I still have my old stuff there, um, together with his, and whatever I have here in the UAE, basically is separate from there. So when I go home, I'm gonna have to take all of this with me. Get rid of gear from time to time. I mean, I plan to actually get rid of some reels soon. You know, uh, It's just that I have to make sure that they're actually in top condition before I actually let them go. That's it. Some actually have some modifications. Like take for example, my OSHA jigger actually has like a line holder, which is pretty cool. It's an aftermarket part that you put on to replace a screw, and it's just something that after fishing or whatnot, you wind your leader onto there, and it's there. So yeah, um, I think my OSHA jigger. Yeah, I mean all of my OSHA jiggers actually have aftermarket handles, like Studio Ocean Mark handles. So yeah, I'm probably gonna let go of them because I'm transitioning to well, at least my active reels will all be Studio Ocean Mark. So yeah, that is the way going forward. Uh, when you're buying gear and you're just buying for yourself, the best advice that I'm giving you that I could give is actually to spend on the right gear. And you have to kind of always go to the max. Like take for example, if you're buying a bait casting reel, buy the reel that's above the reel that you want. So if you want a Corrado, okay, take a reel that's on top of that. Like take for example, get a GDM Corrado, which is the Scorpion, instead of the Corrado. The price is approximately 1.5 times the price of the Corrado, but you end up with a better reel. So yeah, it's newer technology. Like take for example, instead of buying a Corrado DC, you buy a Scorpion DC, and it's literally two generations in front of the current Corrado. Um, and then rods, the same thing. Always get, because what happens is that when you're buying cheap stuff, you'll find that it'll hit a limit, and when it hits a limit, what do? You always look for something that you upgrade to. Uh, So yeah, what's gonna happen is that as soon as you hit the roadblock, bang, that's it. So like take for example for me, 1,000 size reel. I have a Stradic just for 1,000. Okay, I have a Stradic. I have a Stradic CI4, and I have a Stella. Between these three reels, there's actually no other need for me to buy any other reel that's in the 1,000 range. The Stella actually put a period to it. So done. Paisa? What's a paisa? What's paisa? What does that mean? There's no upgrade for a Shimano Trinidad 16A. If you want an upgrade for that, it'll be a newer one. I mean, they're phasing out the Chinese, by the way. Ah, Mexicans. Okay, got it. Got it. Here, we have a lot of Indians and Pakistanis, and it's, Indian, Pakistanis, and Sri Lankans. So those are kind of like the. Oh man, that's some good tea. This is black tea. Freaking love it. Ah, there's 15 people, and I can't even see who's there. This is weird, because you can't really. I'm half Mexican, but it seems like many don't respect personal fishing. And that's common, James. The sad thing is that is common. A lot of people just don't give a rat's ass, man. They just don't fucking care. Trust me, it's not just here, or it's not just there. It's literally um, kind of like a global pastime for fishermen. no respect for personal space. That's like a global standard there, dude. You know. So uh, if you're fishing with a what do you call this? With a surf rod, the easiest way is to actually show them that listen, I'm casting. You know, you're gonna get hit. You know, just go like that, and then actually almost hit them. You know, especially if you have like a big ass sinker with hooks, with like the grappling sinker. That's the best way to actually get them to skedaddle because they're scared to get hit. You know what I mean? Now, for me, especially with the long rods, when I cast, they'll see it because I use a pendulum. I use a pendulum cast, and when they see how the arc is, they'll just go like "fuck," you know. So, and by the way, when I cast, like when I surf fish, especially when I'm using like my Pen 525, man, that thing announces itself. Like as soon as you do your pendulum and cast out, that thing hums like a motherfucker. Okay? And they hear it and they get fucking scared because they know if they get hit, they die. That reel actually has a safety warning when you buy it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, but again, especially when you're catching, people tend to want to get close, you know, because they're thinking that if they stick close to you, the fish would bite, you know. They fucking swim, motherfucker, you know. They fucking swim. They don't stay put. Shit. Yeah. Just take a gun, man. You know, like I'm strapping, motherfucker. Get the fuck out. A friend of mine who's in Orange County, who lives in Orange County. I don't know if he's here actually, but uh, he said the same thing. You know, when he fishes elsewhere and all that, there's always those people that crowd you and stuff. You know, it's a struggle to actually kind of. It's a struggle to find a spot that's right. So you know, it is what it is. Trust me, it's not just the U.S. It's not just in your area. It's everywhere. It's a sad, sad thing. Wow, we're almost hitting 1,000 views on the video. Not bad. You know, this is messed up. Okay, um, there were some people who told me that because of what I do, you know, I'm trying to you know, educate, share, or whatever, and I'm just talking. I'm not fishing. They said that your channel will never grow. 21,554 people disagree with them. You know, and it feels almost as if it was yesterday when I first started. 21,554. Holy crap, man. You know, that many people actually subscribe, which is weird. Anyway, so yeah, again, kind of a reminder for you guys that are here. If you also click on the notification bell so that each time I upload a video, you guys know. Because it's kind of um, what happens is that it becomes kind of important for YouTube because the more people actually get the, yeah, 21 people that got butt hurt and still stuck around. I don't pull punches. That's the thing, you know. I don't ever since like see here's the thing. Punch has been around for a long time. In fact, Punch has been around before this channel ever existed because before this and a few years even before I actually came to the UAE, I ran a forum and I think it has contributed a little bit on the trajectory that the Philippines took as far as fishing is concerned. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying, man. This is one of those things that actually kind of frustrated me when we moved because I wasn't able to film. And right now, even if we're not set up correctly, I kind of want to get into the rhythm of things. And mind you, just before this whole room flooded. I had 1 inch of water here. It pissed me, pissed me up so bad because my editing computer, that one right there, okay, that one, yeah, that one right there was on the floor. So yeah, man. I mean, it's not super stable right now. For some weird reason, it always asks me to actually install RAID, which it has. Obviously, it's installed. I updated the BIOS, but it's still doing that damn thing. Anyway, because of someone's carelessness, James, you know, behind this window right here, okay, behind this window, see, can you see it? Yeah, yeah, that window right there. Behind that is my washing machine, and uh, I wish it was that easy, Puki. I wish it was that easy. But yeah, I mean, you know, uh, washing machine is there, and I told them that listen, um, it's not it's not properly installed, so don't leave it unattended. And our nanny, she left it. And what happened was that the connection going into the washing machine is like an elbow, and it popped out. So water was actually hitting this window. And when it hit the window, it went down and filled up the sill. You know, the sill has tracks, and that shit's not waterproof. So it actually flooded in, and I had 1 inch of water here. So that delayed things because I had to make sure that everything was dry. And even now that it's dry, that damn thing's unstable. So I don't know till when it's gonna hold. So happy about listening to other experience and share your own with them. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ahmed, experiences are great and everything. However, there's also a limit to things because for some people, when they experience things that's not entirely 100% accurate, and then you share that, and then some people actually see it as something correct, and then they start doing it, and it's a gateway to bad habits. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, of course, information sharing, sharing of experiences, just as long as you know where it should stop, is great. Now, for me, I have I have been very fortunate in my lifetime that I was able to uh, be uh, an industry insider. And obviously, after leaving that and before that, I've been a consumer. And I just honestly believe that there are things within the industry that people should understand and know before they actually spend a lot on tackle. So yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do here and accomplish in this channel. Flew one of my drones into a deep puddle, submerged it fully, pulled it out, and instantly removed battery and put under strong fan for 3 days and all okay. Yeah, I mean this is kind of like what happened with me as well, James. The humidifier, no, none. Scared the hell out of me. I know the feeling, James. It's exactly what I went through with with this thing. Oh my God, it's cold. I'm gonna wear my jacket again. And actually, I'm gonna close that window. So crazy how nearly all fishing brands are owned by Jordan Corporation. Yeah, pure fishing, pure fishing, but it's all profit motivated. This is why, this is why I was saying that pure fishing is conning the biggest audience that they have, because instead of actually selling the good stuff in the US, they're not. They're selling the good stuff in Japan, not in the US. And this is pure fishing. This is Jordan, So, yeah. Um, pen, hold on. Whoa. Bear with me for a moment, guys. There it is. All right. So, this is probably one of the last brand new, never fished reels of this. What do you call this? Scanning of plastic plates. Yeah. Oh. All right. Pen. This was the last reel that Pen made before the real Pen made before they were sold off to before it was sold off to Pure Fishing. Okay. Now, I'm keeping this super pristine. As you can see, everything is still sealed. And I spooled this. And all right. So I love this reel. Now, normally, when you take this thing off here, there's a plate that keeps everything together, and that's called the bridge plate. This reel does not have it. So there's three sizes of this reel. There's a 200 and a 300. This is a 100. Okay. And the feature of the 100 is that it has like a magnetic cast control system. This is why I have this. Okay. Now the 300 was actually meant for jigging and stuff, but this is still made in the same convention as the internationals of yore. Okay. So um, made in USA. This is an example of the last bit of innovation that came out of the US. Sadly, so the innovation is basically taking off the side plate. This thing has an integrated, uh, what they call the IST, it's like integrated side plate technology or something. And basically, what happened is that the guy, the grandson of the founder of Penn, uh, did this all in a sheet of paper. Sorry, not sheet of paper, but literally a napkin. So basically, they built this reel, they released it, and then before you know it, they sold the company off, which is sad. Never have I ever seen innovation of this sort ever. Like take for example the Fathom. Man, I'm telling you, the Fathom is nothing new. Even with the digital cast control or whatever the thing, the UK has been doing that. The UK version of the 525 has been doing that for donkey years. It is not new. It is not revolutionary. Okay, metal bodied reel. Hello, here we go. Fathoms. They're thin. It's like tin cans. Like seriously, innovation left the building when it came when like US fishing innovation left the building a long time ago. When Yeah, exactly. So private equity group, guess what their main concern is? It's not fishability, you know. Um, I worked for a multinational, okay, the direct competition of pure fishing. As far as lures, hooks are concerned, they're the biggest in the world. Starts with the letter R. Logo is red. Okay, and don't mention because I'm not gonna help them when it comes to my channel. I mean, I could still work with them, only that kind of don't. And I left because of the politics. But see, here's the thing, right? These, yeah, well, let's call them Red Lobster. So Red Lobster, uh, maybe James, I don't know. I don't pay attention to pen anymore. But see, this company, majority of the people that work there actually don't go fishing. And you know what? When it comes to pure fishing, it's the same thing. These guys, it they're a business. They're not passionate about fishing. They're passionate about earning money. It's basically a multinational company that just so happens to have fishing products as their business. So, no innovation there. They're never, ever, ever going to invest in innovation. All they want is stay in the middle of the market, churn out products with recycled technology. They switch a badge here, they change the shape, just move things around and stuff and say that, oh, it's new technology. But at the end of the day, their main concern is to turn a profit. And turning a profit means there would be less warranty claims. Simple as that. So what do? Instead of actually putting uh, small bearings for your casting reels, because guess what? A smaller bearing is easier to turn. And when you're casting, okay, smaller bearing will actually um, have less startup inertia. That's fucking physics. What do they do? So that it doesn't break easier, doesn't break easy, so that even if you actually, um, put sand in it and whatnot, they put really um, big and heavy bearings that are packed with grease, so that even if dipshits that mishandle the reels put it in the water, it's not gonna be broken. So, what do you do with people like that? If the majority of your customers are like that, you have no choice but to do exactly that. So, it's a very simple innovation. And guess what? It's nothing new. Okay? Smaller ball bearings to turn spools. Shimano's doing it. Daiwa's doing it. Penn's not doing it. It costs too much money. you know Plus, if debris gets into the smaller ball bearings, it'll break. So what happens? They put something big packed with grease as spool bearings, and then release it to the US market and say like, hey, these reels are tough, built tough, ready for battle. There we go. Okay, even if they cut corners, the price of these reels just go up. They don't maintain. There are several categories. Like, take for example, these reels are forever $150. Squalls, Pen 525s in the UK, 150 pounds. Smaller versions would be like 120 pounds in the UK, 120 US dollars in the States. So those are always going to be in that price point. Sean, cal sheets had to do all those things because the engineering back in the day sucked. Okay, now that it's all computerized, there's no need for cal sheets to do anything. So if you have older reels, go ahead and have them blueprinted by cal, you know, uh, and done. That's the fact of the matter, you know. But see, the thing is, the tolerances that you get with present technology that's used by Shimano and Daiwa, there's no need for a cal to blueprint your reels. Maybe he'd be able to do it with pen because their engineering kind of sucks. But for accurates, or what do you call this, accurates, avets, engineering is actually top notch, and they're more than capable of creating reels like Studio Ocean Mark, but they won't because you have to make sure that there's less returns. So they're always forever going to be making reels that are heavy, sturdy. Bunch, of course they have. When I was there, of course, we made strides. There's products that were released that I had my finger on that were really good. And these are technologies that if I was, if they were the geniuses that are left there, if they were smart enough, the technology that I actually shared, they could have actually passed it on to freshwater lures and earn a killing, but they didn't. That's how smart they are. Yeah. No, not just the explode was my first project. It would be the stick, Magnum stick, with the head down, automatic fishing. There you go. That's it. It's literally automatic fishing. I gave them a lure that fishes itself. And guess what? The first time I fished it, it's exactly what happened. Now, what else? The cast, extra cast and extra prey. I had something to do with that as well. Those small, heavy lures. Um, the explode actually became one of the most highest selling poppers. It really took a chunk out of the Japanese popper market, and there's a secret to that. And I'm not gonna talk about it in live here. Uh, but the how I actually did that was so fucking nerdy. Ahmed, yes, I kid you not. If you know how to fish, if you know how to use this lure, you just cast it up. That's it. And the aim for that lure, um, what it was, okay, was we had like a road show, okay, and what happens is that a lot of the all or a majority of the decision makers on earth when it comes to this company actually go to a place, and we brainstorm, and we kind of figure out what's going to happen in the next year. We call that the road show. Okay, so when I first joined, the road show was in Indonesia. So we had to fly to Singapore and then ride a boat to our factories in Indonesia. So we did that. And then succeeding years, we had it in Dubai. So that particular lure, okay, that particular lure that we're talking, the automatic fishing lure, that was actually born inside my freaking car when we rode from the hotel going to a tackle shop. Okay, I had the vice president of lures here beside me. I was driving, and then his right hand man, the director, was behind. And he asked me one question. He said, and this guy is pretty cool, you know. Um, Man, I love this guy. I love him so much, man. I'm telling you, he's so. everybody gets intimidated by him because he had this huge aura and persona in him. He just commanded respect. Whenever he entered the room, everybody looks at him. He's the guy in charge. It's like that. And there's a few of these people, right? But see, this guy had a habit of actually giving people nicknames, and he usually does this after the third time when he meets you. Okay, so um, uh, when we met, you know, he heard me talking to like the guy in charge of hooks, and I was talking to him about like a design, and all this. He just looked, and then after that, he I think he chilled with us while we were smoking and stuff in the smoking area, and we were talking about rods or something like that. And then um in the classroom discussions, I was always asked, and this and this and this and that. So he actually kind of paid attention because I was the new guy, and what the hell, the new guy had a lot to say, you know. And then came the evening, and then he just goes like, he sat beside me. He goes like, "Hey guys, listen, I have a nickname for him." And everybody is like, "Whoa, first time ever that he's actually giving a nickname to someone the first time he met him." So he ended up actually calling me three pack because he said like two pack can only do two things. This guy can do a lot, So in the company email, we actually sign off with our nicknames that he's given, right? So I was three pack. Anyway, so um, he was like, "Listen, three pack, we're the last to go. We're going back to Europe, and I want to hang out with you and talk to you about something. And it's the project. It's a hero project that we want that's going to be released either next year or the year after." So I was like, "All right." So I was driving. He goes like, "Let's go to the tackle shop," and it's a big ass tackle shop. So he said like, "Okay, can you take us there? And then after that, we can just have a conversation, whatever." So I was like, "Sure." So while we were in the car, he literally just asked me, "If you were to decide on what lure to release next year or the year after, what would you choose? A casting lure or a trolling lure?" And I said, like, "Man, trolling's dead. Trolling is dead. It costs too much money, and the fishing has shifted." And I said, like, "Listen, man, you're very well aware of the success of my first project, right?" And he goes like, "Yeah, man. That was like the talk of the company and all that, which is the explode." So when I first received the explode, it was totally fucking different. And guess what? If all right, I shit. Uh, mm, Pukey, you know what? It's freshwater fishing freshwater fishing, they replenish. I really don't care, But for saltwater, it's harder because forward facing sonar uh, doesn't really get too far when it comes to saltwater. So yeah, maybe down the line when it really impacts like saltwater, I would probably get worried. But the fishing is actually getting to be a point where it's less skill. You know, if anyone can do that electronically with a little bit of nudge down, it's not going to be fun anymore because a lot of this has a lot to do with trying to outsmart the fish. So yeah, trolling is boring. Agreed. So this is the lure in question. Okay, and mind you, you won't find the this color because this is one of the prototypes that they sent me. So you can see clearly the scalloping and all that. That's already, you know. But this particular lure is what we're talking about: automatic fishing. Uh, it's somewhere here, but you know what? I wanted to show you guys the prototype of the Explode because I have the prototype. But the thing is, when I actually received the prototype, I changed that completely. And what you see now, if you Google it, it's totally different. The look is totally different from when I started with it. And it changed because of me. That's it. And the engineers freaking loved what I did with it. Freaking loved what I did with it. And, I can't actually share the secret, even if I want to because yeah, it was how it was done was actually pretty smart. Anyway, so it has a lot to do with sound waves, a lot to do with sound waves, and that's how I actually got them. They were like, "Holy shit!" Anyway, so the Explode has a secret. uh, it contributes to how easy it is to fish. So that's kind of like the theme, right? So when we were in the car, this guy asked me like, what would you do? So I said, like, you know what? We already had the Explode, and it's like a very good. What do you call this? It's a very good product. A lot of people are actually buying into it, and then when we introduced a smaller one, even better. So I said, like, what we need is a stick bait to actually complement that. And he goes, yeah, okay, that sounds like a good idea, but it has to be different. It has to be, da 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 da. And then I told him, like, yeah, okay. So tell you what, because we're actually doing it as plastic, there is a possibility that we could actually do something that's totally crazy and we can do it consistently because using plastic as a medium actually gives you consistency. Not like wood, not like wood, because wood, even if it comes from the same tree, the density of that part of the wood would be different from the other. So if you're doing it with plastic, it's plastic. It's the same, you know, as far as densities and concerned and all that. So I said, I have a lure in mind, but it's not going to be easy. And he goes, is it possible to do it? I was like, yeah, with the proper balance, yes, but there's a lot of math involved. So he goes like, okay, so what do you have in mind? So I go like, okay, so you know how a fish actually swims, and it actually doesn't swim like this. An injured fish would actually swim like that. Okay, it's not like this. It would actually go like that. So he goes, okay, what are you getting at? So I go, what do you think is the best action that any user could put on a lure that anyone at any skill level would be able to do? And he was like, three pack, you're speaking in tongues. What you're saying is what you're asking doesn't make sense. I go like, okay, what's the input that you can put? What's the input that you could apply on a rod, on a lure to make it move so convincingly that someone that's expert or someone that is zero knowledge would be able to catch fish? Because I don't know. I think that doesn't exist. I go like, yeah, nothing, nothing. The best way is no input. You cast out, it does its own thing. He goes like, what? We put batteries? I'm like, no, it's the action. So basically, that lure swims like this. You cast it out, it goes like that, head down. Okay, head down. And that's very important because if you have an aquarium and actually see, if you see like a weak fish, what happens? It meanders like that. Okay, so in theory, what you could do is actually just cast it out, let it fall down. Okay, if the fish are there, they're gonna bite it. Easy prey. If not, what you do is actually just reel a little bit and then stop and let it do its own thing. So it swims forward and then does that. How easy is that? And I said that what it is it's very difficult because of how you weight it and the shape of the body. So I kind of ended up being the guy who approved. If the action was okay, I would make like, they send me prototypes, I'd test it out, and then I'd make like a report and then send it back. So a couple of back and forths, and we got it to about 80% of that before we kind of ran out of budget. So the product is actually 100% of what it should be because what I wanted is not only the head down movement, but when you actually move the rod, it goes like a what do you call this? Uh, S motion. Hey, wow! Hello, South Africa. So yeah, I mean, what do you call this? With that, and it was a success. It's literally one of the easiest lures to use. It's automatic fishing, so you only cast it out, you let it sink, you move it, and then let it sink again. Now, here's the thing: when I first used it, um, we went offshore. The moment I got the lure, the next day, immediately out. Um, really early morning, I cast it out, first cast. After seeing it swim. Casted it, really close so that I could see its motion, dropped it down, all this, did its thing. So I go like, okay, first cast. And I saw some birds. And mind you, this is like way offshore. Cast it out. Boom. Hit the water. And then I'm pretty sure it did its thing. I just let and then before you know it, my line starts running. I close the bail, okay, and then just let the drag go. Boom! Out comes a Dorado. Okay, and I saw it like, oh my god, man, it's a hen. I don't want a hen female. So what I did was started to shake my rod. Boom, lost the fish. And then what did I do? Open the bail again, let it sink. Bang. That time a bull came out. So closed my bail, reeled it in, bang, set the hook, got the fish. Second fish after this bull, I cast it out. Actually, no, I just lobbed it out, and then opened the bail, put it in the rod holders, and just let it drop. Because at that point in time, I knew there were tuna under the boat. We could see it on the sounder, and then I think someone on the boat actually caught a tuna. So I just let it swim, and then the line just started booking. I saw it's like, holy crap, something's on there. Closed the bail, reeled it up, bang, yellowfin tuna. And I actually have a picture of this, and I sent it to them. So after that, they said like, okay, is this it? This is the lure. It's already caught fish, and it has the motion that you want and all that crap. I was like, no, it's about 80%. I still wanted to do this, and I was explaining to the project what do you call this, coordinator and stuff. And then he goes, kid, we're out of money, so we have to release it. So it's out in the wild now. That was my last project before I left. So, you know, um, Cool story. So when it comes to lures, I have some experience. Uh, Rods, I've also designed and actually earned the company a buck. Could you give any advice on Jigstar rods and then clarity on the Studio Ocean Mark reels? Really four times the price of the Shimano Talica and Daiwa. Jigging hasn't got the public. Okay. Jigstar rods. Have no idea about those rods. Absolutely have no idea. Studio Ocean Mark. Uh, why they're four times the price? I could give you all sorts of reasons, Kobus. I can give you all sorts of reasons, but here's the thing. I actually made a video, okay, stating that the Studio Ocean Mark isn't actually as expensive as a lot of people think it to be. The perceived value of the Studio Ocean Mark reel is expensive. Yes. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's get one of the reels. Okay. So this is an L50 Z Japan. Okay. Um, this is a step up from the base model. So if I had an OSHA jigger, let's say an OSHA jigger 2000, this reel holds more line than the OSHA jigger 2000. It's smoother. It's also lever drag, stronger. Okay, I dare say, and more powerful. It's also lighter. Okay, now that in itself is already kind of like a sales pitch and whatnot. But see, here's the thing. Okay, OSHA jigger, when you take off the spool, everything comes apart. This, when you take off the spool, take the screws. You have three, only three. One, two, three. That's it. When you take this out, you're able to swap out the spool. So, in a typical fishing situation like for me, okay, I would take this reel plus two Ahmed. Yeah, that's true. You know, but then when I was with them, uh, fresh ideas and all this, and good luck trying to copy what we've done. Good luck, you know. Good luck. Anyway, so you have this plus a spoon or two. So basically, I can have this with a different line, have this with a different line, and then I have another. Let's just say I have one spare spool. I have PE2 on this, I have PE 2.5 on this one. On a Shimano, you can't really do that, especially when you're on a boat. This, because the screws don't fly out and there's only three, it's easier to take apart, put together, and realistically, if you need to change your spool, if you need to change your line, it's easier. Okay. So I think that is the biggest selling point because you're not just buying one reel. So if you're comparing, let's say, silver model, so this is the silver one, it's the base model. Okay. So it's just a tad more expensive than the OSHA jigger. It's lighter than the OSHA jigger. Okay, it's lighter. It has an upgraded handle already, which you have to upgrade for Shimano. And then the real handle is going to give you a lot of life because the rubber stuff that Shimano actually uses, it melts after a while, and it's not really pleasant to the hands. It's something that you have to change down the line. So you take off these screws, they don't pop out of the uh, the frame. You take the spool, you replace it, and guess what? That's another reel. So instead of actually spending for another reel, which you would have to for Shimano, you have to have like one line for here, another line for there. The spools of the Shimano actually have this thing sticking out. This is a modular system. Bang, you just put another spool, and within 5 minutes, you're fishing again, either using spares, right? A spare line, or if you need to drop or increase in size. So you're covered with the Studio Ocean Mark. Overall, when it comes to engineering, it's just a better reel. Uh, but especially for jigging and slow jigging, the biggest thing is sensitivity. Okay, especially when you're fishing deep water. Shimano's are heavy. Shimano's are freaking heavy. Even if they made like the LD version, which is supposed to be that um, something that's supposed to address the weight. Slow jigging reel needs to be light for it to be sensitive. You cannot be heavy and sensitive because the mass actually absorbs the vibration. All right, Punch. So what happens is that you're not only spending more energy trying to jig with a Shimano, it's also less sensitive than compared to a Studio Ocean Mark. So there's those are all things, and I know that sometimes it's very hard to actually justify these costs, and they are. But fact of the matter is they all stack up. And in fishing situations where little bits little bits of things actually stack up to become something big, and that spells catching fish, this has the advantage, and it's a huge disadvantage for Shimano. Having said that, Shimano and Daiwa are standards, so you can't really go wrong with them. Now, a lot of people actually move on to Studio Ocean Mark because they're looking for something more power, more smoothness, more functionality, just more real, more real for the bang of the buck. You know what I mean? So a lot of people at first they're hesitant and stuff, but once you go with the Studio Ocean Mark system, you just go like, man, this makes so much sense. So like take for example for me, I have a reel bag with 9 reels. Okay. I don't take a lot. So basically I just take a spool and then a reel. That's it. I'm set. Instead of actually taking two combos, I have two rods or three, and I have two spools extra. And if I want to change something, like take for example, uh, in the slow part of the day when I need thinner line, bang, I don't have to carry it. And trust me, a spool is actually cheaper than a whole reel. That's it. So, your fishing system just kind of gets compressed. Yeah, it's expensive, but then fishing is. And I mean, you get what you pay for. Dude. That's it. You know? Thanks, Piyuki. Take care. I'm about to actually kind of head in as well. Um, it is 4:30 here. Uh, anyway, it's great to be back, and this is actually pretty cool. Um, wow, look at that. 1,000 views on the video. That is cool. Alrighty, so Kobus, did that actually answer your question? Um, for some people, it's actually just the the justification, but if the cost is too much, then that's that. There's always a cost to a product. You know, not to say that, of course, um, Shimano's bad. They're good. They're very good. Uh, but if you just want more functionalities, and all this, Studio Ocean Mark is it. Uh, Mind you, what I showed you was actually the first and the entry level, and then the next year, it goes up. It goes up. Like the OGM models are actually very, very light, and they have titanium parts to make to make them as light as they are. And yeah, they it's what do you call this? Let me show you actually instead of just talking about it. All right, so this is my main reel, and this is the L30. Okay, OGM L30. It's HG. It is the size of 1500, but what it is it has more capacity than the 2000. So just that in itself is super, super big. This is 500 or 600 meters of PE2. Imagine that. PE2. Okay. This reel is so light. It's, carbon and, man, super smooth and so easy pulling amberjacks with this. Like this little thing, manhandling amberjacks. 20, 25 kg amberjacks. Easy on PE2. Easy. It's crazy how powerful this is. So yeah, the quality is top notch. Just Fico. Glad to have entertained you. So yeah, man, it's that, everything has a cost, and a lot of people, I think, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start doing. Uh, Thanks, Rashid. See ya. Alberto, ciao. Ciao, Bella. My boss was Italian, man. Loved it. Um, what do you call this? I think when you hold it and comparing it to other reels, that's when you actually, just say like, holy crap, it's actually, out there. It's really good. Like for me, um, yeah, I think what I was trying to say, um, I have plans of actually making a corporate video for another reel that's arriving pretty soon. So in a few days, I'm actually set to receive two reels from Japan. And these two reels that I'm gonna be receiving is like one is a casting reel, and the other is a light jigging reel with a level line. It's the Blue Safari Z Japan. So the export only version of the Blue Safari. And I have a factory tuned Blue Safari as well. So when I received my Blue Safari out of the box, it's totally different. And when I showed it online, they actually had to make a model that mimics mine. So there's a deep water version, okay, of the Blue Safari that's being sold um, because of me. And more than likely, what's going to happen is that there's also going to be a K version of the Z Japan uh, Blue Safari. Because guess what? My Blue Safari is also going to be different. Factory too. Uh, but yeah, corporate video explaining the new reel. And more than likely, what's going to happen is I'm also going to have to make an English version explaining the reels. So we'll see. That's kind of something that's going to happen down the line. Excited to do that, but before that happens, I'm gonna have to fix the lighting situation here. Make the studio actually something that I can film uh, these videos on. Alrighty. Anyway, so that's it for me for now. I've got to sleep. I have a big day ahead. I'm going to actually try and scout the place and actually see if I can film so that the next video that I'm going to be publishing would be something kind of new. Alrighty, so that's it, guys. Thank you very much. So yeah, uh, how would I go about on getting those views in South Africa as none of our stock lists are even about the brand? Kobos, I will ask the president of Studio Ocean Mark later on who the Actually, let me ask him now. If okay, so he's probably going to, what do you call this? But what I'll do if he doesn't reply, Kobos, is I will message you, or if not, I'm gonna do like members only thing so that you can see it. Alrighty, members only community post. What I can do for you if you're not able to do this, I will connect you with someone here because the UAE has the largest um stock of SOM in the Middle East and Africa. So I will connect you. James, Mr. Kit, really? Just Kit is fine. But yeah, I'll connect you with a shop here. And then, just in case if there's no, what do you call this? There's no distributor there. Okay. But yeah, well, I'll connect you with the guys here, and they'll be more than happy. In fact, those guys, the people in the shop here, actually going to come here on Thursday evening. So we're going to have a little get together here, and we'll, I can connect you then, and you can ask questions about pricing and all that, shipping and what. The shipping is pretty straightforward. If you buy from them, what's going to happen is that they're going to box it up, and then through the main office they will ask the secretary to get quotes from all the shippers, and they will get the cheapest, and that's all you're paying for. I guess there's import duties on your side, but that's kind of natural and stuff. But as far as shipping is concerned, they always ship at the cheapest possible rate outside of the UAE. I want to learn fly and assist hook making. The problem, no guide us even in the shop. Lack of information. That's Ahmed. That's kind of the theme here. In the channel, I actually show you how to make assist hooks, and I show how you do general assist hooks. I also show you how to do for specific jigs. I discuss the hooks, the components, and stuff like that. So all you have to do is actually go on Amazon or Amazon Japan. Give me a heads up, man. Just reply on one of the videos, and then I'll see it, and then I can send you links. Okay, I can send you links, and then that's it. Tutorials are great, but time won't save. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what they're there for. And guys, assist hooks. Okay, I've been making them since 2003. Okay, I've been making them 2003, and there are several companies out there that are using my designs. Okay, so you're not getting random information, guys. You're actually getting information from someone who has experience making them, both as a consumer, okay, and as someone from the industry. I can honestly tell you that there's um, assist hooks out there that are made by owner. Okay, that's my design. uh, I've just been doing them for a long time. I didn't pioneer them. I mean, the first time I've seen assist hooks were actually around the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And after that it just got like, oh, weird. you know but yeah, I mean, assist hooks have been around for quite a long time. It's not anything new. So by 2003, before I moved here, I was already making them. And by the time I moved here, I was already shore jigging, and that was 2005. And yeah, fast forward to a few years ago, okay, 2017, something like that, I gave a design to owner. And then 2018 and onwards, the company from France is using my formula for all of their assist hooks. Okay? So yeah, man. I mean, I as far as his hooks are concerned, I think I'm kind of qualified to actually show people how it's done. It's funny because the very first idea that I had, I wanted to give to the company that I was working for, and the reply that was given to me was, uh, "Well, we're only following the trends from Japan." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I gave it to the owner, and guess what? They made it. So the Japs are following a Filipino so that all the rest can follow the Japs. Crazy. So yeah, there's a playlist there and it's long, Ahmed. All right. So everything from small assist hooks to big assist hooks and stuff, you'll find it there. And guess what? As soon as I organize this space, there's going to be more. Alrighty? There's going to be more. So yeah. Anything more, guys? Just ask away before we end. Is that a Colombian leaf sniffer? Where? What? This? No, it's a what do you call this? That's a Thai inhaler. Uh, yeah, it's an inhaler. It's actually a mint inhaler. So this is pretty cool, man. You have this, so that's liquid. Assist line and cords is my main problem, such as LB and materials. The easiest way is to get your shank, get your what do you call this? Get your cord, put the cord to the shank. Okay, half the diameter of the cord should be half the diameter of the shank. That's it, and you're in good shape. Alrighty. So example. So this is the hook shank. Okay, you take your line and then put it there at the halfway point. If it's near or around the halfway point, that's the size cord to use. Very easy, very straightforward. Buying assist line, you can buy them online, or wherever you're at. So if you're around the Middle East, they're all over the place, man. Alrighty, cool guys. I think I gotta go. It's been 3 hours and 30 minutes for the live. That's crazy for the stream. All right, so that's it for now. I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, we'll do another one of these, but next time I'll do an announcement so that everyone can join in. Alrighty, cool guys. Have a great morning.